of information in a short amount of time. So as you can see on the screen is the Playday registration site. And I just wanted to go over real quickly what a Playday is and the benefits of a Playday and registering your Playday. So we're going to do a fun little poll to kick off the webinar. I love polls. I think they're super fun. So if you can see on the screen, it will ask you what a Playday consists of. You can answer, you can click as many as you want. So just if you would quick answer that, what do you think a Playday consists of?
Carol, please call the front desk. Josh,
oh.
Carol.
We have 29% votes in. Almost everyone is voted. Wow, look at that. Okay. Oh, cool. Almost there. A few more people need to vote, I think. We're watching you. We know. We know. I think we're almost okay. Yeah, so everybody, okay, so 100%. Okay. Cool. Should we share the results? Okay.
It's kind of small on our screen.
Yeah, we can't see it very well, but it looks like all of you said a Playday consists of serve, rally, and score. Yay! That's exciting because that is the basic definition of a Playday. You need to make sure you provide the opportunity for all the kids to serve, rally, and score within the Playday. So fantastic. And all the other ones are, you certainly can involve all of those with the Playday. So great. I'm glad you all answered the serve, rally, and score and the other ones. So great. Exciting. I think that's my job of the webinar is you guys know what a Playday is. As you can see on the screen, Playdays are designed for kids from those just learning to compete to those who are already in competition to play in a fun, non-threatening, yet competitive environment. So it's supposed to be fun, of course, a little bit competitive, but yet non-threatening for those kids who are new to competition. Few hours, these events give kids the opportunity to play, whether they're getting ready for the next step of playing sanctioned tournaments or if they already are competing and are looking for additional play time. As you can see, the last sentence, emphasis is placed on participation, effort, and sportsmanship. We're going to move over to a screen now that lists the benefits of registering your Playday. So at the very top, if you don't know already, that's where you would go to register your Playday, tenandundertennis.com/organizer. That's a quick and easy way to go, brings you right up to the screen to log in. And something that just started, brand new, every organizer for every Playday you host receives 25 bag tags. So that's pretty cool. That's for every Playday that you host, 25 bag tags for the kids. You also receive educational materials for the parents, USTA junior membership flyers, of course, access to the marketing materials to help promote your event. And of course, it also promotes and showcases your facility and your program. So those are some great benefits for registering your Playday. And then if your first time that you host a Playday, those of you probably have already received this if you hosted a Playday, you get that first time startup manual for registering your very first Playday. And they just added the benefits on the bottom there. If you host 10 Playdays, you get a banner, as you can see there. If you host 15 Playdays, you receive 12 red foam balls and 12 orange balls. And then if you host 20 Playdays, you receive a portable net. So those are some benefits they just added. All right, I don't want to take up all the time because I know Sabina and Mike have some great information to pass along to you. But just real quick, if you want to raise your hand, if you have a question or a comment over on the side there, can you all see where you would raise your hand? Why don't we just do it now for practice real quick? Just push the little hand and then we know you have a question or a comment. Yay, Jesse, Randy, Kevin. Emma, Katrina. Emma took her hand away. Matt, that means Matt and David are doing something else. No, okay, great. So you either raise your hand if you have a comment, or you can also write it in the question box down below. You can send it to Christine and I privately, or you can send it to everybody if you have a quick question. And then also you can do it in the chat box if you just want to chat. Oh, okay, Matt, you can't on the iPad? Can you write a question on the iPad?
Well, clearly.
Oh, he just did. Great. So he can you can just add a question if you have one. Fantastic. And also, just so you all know, we are recording this webinar. So those who couldn't make it today, we are going to be able to post it on our website so that people who weren't able to listen in today can listen later on. So that's pretty cool. We wanted to let you know that we're recording the webinar. I'm going to pass it over to Sabina and Mike. They are from the Rochester Athletic Club, and they agreed to share how they run their play days and give you guys some tips and answer any questions that you may have. So I'm going to pass it over to you two. Thanks so much.
All right, I think Mike's going to start here.
So I'll just start off, and I'm going to go through just the registration process through 10undertennis.com.
Can you see the screen?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, it's very easy. It takes a couple minutes. You just go to Tennis Play Days as I scroll down here. And you can just sign in. I have a login. It's my email.
And Mike, will you scroll down quick before you click login so we can see where you sign up for an account if you don't have a login?
Yep, and there's a create account right here, obviously.
Yep, perfect.
And so I did that a while back, and then I said login. And then here's all of our ones that we've done so far. But I'm going to add one, our July one. And then I just go
Firecracker Play Day. I love your names. It's fun.
It's so creative.
It's great to have fun names for your play days.
We're trying to figure out the address of our club. We drive on autopilot.
Well, I can always change this. I'm going to put this.
And we have our June one is already on, so Mike's going to put on the
we're
July.
putting the July one because I already did the June.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be here at 6 a.m.
Had to be an early one. The kids
one.
might be up. I think the instructors might have more trouble.
All right, so I'm going to open it to anybody.
And that feature is new where you can choose the in-house, the team, or the open. So that's a new feature, which is nice.
And then I just entered everything, and I just go to save. And there we go.
Perfect. And Mike, will you click into maybe your June one to show when you scroll down how you can access the marketing materials and the flyers?
Sure. And then all the way down here, as you can see, the downloadable materials. They have good sportsmanship. And do you want me to pull some of these up?
Sure. Maybe just pick one.
We'll go with good sportsmanship. and then you can just, print this off and then, write the player's name in there. And you could do as many as you want of these. So if there's maybe 4 different groups that you have, you could have 4 different sportsmanship winners or whatever. But these are really cool. I mean, if we have, let's say we have 50 people, we can give out 10 to, 15 of these different, awards, as well as every time we register, we get those bag tags, so we hand those out as well.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Mike. And now, Sabina, I'm going to take back the controls, but if you want to talk through, I'm going to bring up your presentation.
See if we can find it here again.
Yep. All right.
There you are.
There
All
it is.
right.
Awesome.
All right, so one of the things that you had asked for us to talk about is how to make a successful play day. And quite honestly, we started out doing play days and weren't very successful with them, and we kind of made a transition.
Welcome to GoToWebinar, web events made easy.
That were ready or felt ready or wanted.
Welcome to GoToWebinar, web events made easy.
Probably 5 or 6 of
Yep.
them where we had maybe 8 to 15 kids.
Yep.
And frequently we had a lot of red ball kids and not many orange, and they really weren't going that well at that point in time. And so we started promoting a lot more to our red ball kids, the little ones. And they came, and they, at that point, our 4- and 5-year-olds really didn't want to play matches. So we were really doing more initially of what USTA would be calling their tennis festivals, where we'd have them come in, we'd do games, and we'd give prizes and all of that. And as our numbers started growing and this started to become like a social event for the kids, their tennis started improving, and now we're in the point where we're transitioning it more to the traditional play day. What we wanted to encourage the parents to think of it as a date night. Welcome to stay, but if they can go, that's fine. And as our numbers have improved, now we're looking at anywhere between 45 and 65 kids out of these play days. That in itself created some logistical issues. The kids coming into the not losing any of them. So we spent some time.
Sabina, is the background on your end, or can people, I believe it's *6 to mute your phone?
It's not on our end. We've got nothing over here.
Oh, much better. Okay, Katrina, do you have a question, Katrina, quick? Oh, she's on. Oh, I think they had their hands raised from before. Okay, alrighty, just checking.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, we were hearing it from your end, so I don't know where it was coming from.
Yeah, sounds better now. Thank you.
But anyway, so as our numbers increased, one of the issues that we initially had was we had a lot of kids, and not wanting to lose the kids when you've got 50, 60 little kids on a Friday night, and they're all pretty wound up. So we started having the parents sign in the kids. We had wristbands that they had to wear, write their names on the wristbands, and then the parents had to sign them back out. And like I said, the first several of these, when we were kind of in the 30s and 40s, probably were more of a festival than a play day. And we just got the kids coming, and we got social groups formed, and they started, if their parents go and play in the adult mixers, this was kind of the kid version of that. And as we started getting the kids in and their playing got better, especially with the orange ball, we started adding in more of the match play. And even that being said, each time we have one, we still start out with at least a half an hour or so of games and agility, athletic development. We do obstacle courses. You can see we've got a setup there for the red ball. We set up 6 courts on 1 court, so that tends to be a little more cost efficient for us. Now, do I change this? Do I go through the slides, or do you here?
Nope, I do.
Okay, you can go switch to the next one.
Yep.
See, we've got 6 courts set up, different things on all of them. For the red ball kids, the way we've gotten the match play into it is we always set up a court that's the match court, and we ask who wants to play a match, and we let them go. And then we also always have a rally with the pro court, so that the ones that aren't ready to independently play the matches can still get that match feel. They're seeing serves, they're seeing returns, playing out points that they might not be able to play with, do with each other yet. But we always maintain, even at the orange ball, we'll keep some courts that have a pro that's drilling, and that's been very useful because a lot of times we got a child where they want to bring their neighbor along, and their neighbor's never played tennis before. Obviously, we don't want to throw them out into a match and have it be a bad experience for them. So there's always that safe option that if they want to do games, they can, but we do send them out and match play, usually the second half of our play day. So we'll set it up where we have games and drills, then we have usually a pizza party, and then after the pizza party, we send them out to their matches. What's kind of exciting is more of our red ball kids now are starting to get to where they're ready to play matches, and I think that side of it will also turn more towards the play day, a little away from the festival. But it seems like the best way to grow these is to start off just getting the kids in your facility. If you don't have them there, there's no way you can get them to start playing matches. So our goal was, let's get all our kids in here, let's make it a fun opportunity, good for the parents too, they can watch, they can leave, whatever works, get their skills up, and then let's get some match play going. And we're following that up now with a lot more red ball tournaments, orange ball tournaments, green dot tournaments, both in-house and I think this summer we're going to have quite a few that will be open to the section as well. What has been a must has been food and prizes. You know, definitely they look forward to the pizza parties. They like the themes. You can see here, this was our Halloween play day, and this was still when they were smaller. You know, a couple of the kids are in costumes, they're making faces. You can go to the next slide. At Christmas time, well, one group was eating pizza, the other was making court angels rather than snow angels. That was before we had snow, but then we had quite a bit in May instead. We should have probably gone outside and done 16 inches of snow in one day. It was fun. At Christmas time, while they were eating, we had the What Should Santa Bring Us, and there's Mike with some of the kids. And then what's nice with this is we have, you know, with those posters, we put those posters up, people read them like, oh, what was this? Oh, it was our play day. Oh, that sounds fun. I think my child would like to do it. And then we get them in. And again, I think initially you got to get them in the door. And then after you get them in the door, you have to entertain them. And after they're entertained, they start getting confidence, and they get that confidence, and they start playing matches. We get some kids warming up serve.
Yeah, this slide right here is to get that serve rally and playing out the point. We just have to make sure these kids are able to serve. So we just go through 10 minutes of serving, you know, making sure they know where to aim, and you know how many serves you get, what happens if a let happens, and stuff like that. Just so when we send them out, we don't have to explain that, you know, another time. Just so we warm up serves like at most 10 minutes.
And if we don't do this, then we end up needing to have a pro on every court, and that starts becoming really expensive. You know, if we're having to help them score and help them do everything, so we do spend that time to make sure that everyone knows how to score, everybody knows how to serve, and they at least have the basics down for how a match works. Like I said, the food and the prizes. Prizes have been a big thing here. We have been purchasing rackets, and we had a donation from Prince for a bag. But we have collected in the past from USTA Northern, we've gotten the foam balls after every play day. Well, we collected a lot of those along with some orange balls. The one day we gave everybody a ball to take home, because it's surprising how many of these kids, even if they're playing 10 and under and they're using the transitional ball format in-house, they go home and they're still hitting with the big yellow balls. So we're trying to make sure they each have a ball, and those were pretty popular. The ones that were actually the most popular, even with the orange ball kids, were the foam balls, because they're just more fun. And then before they're out the door, we make sure they have a flyer in their hand that tells them when the next play day is. And I think that's been really good, because that's when the kids are excited. 2 weeks later, they may not remember how much fun they had, but when they're walking out the door, they're telling their parents, I played this match, and I played so-and-so, and we had a contest, and so-and-so won a racket. Having that information for the next one, it seems to be really useful. About 2 weeks before every event, a week to 2 weeks, we pass out a flyer for all our 10 and under classes. It's that same flyer, but we remind them at that point in time. And as we see parents, we mention it to them, and we even promote these in our adult drills, because the majority, especially our daytime drills, the majority of the daytime drills are moms, and they have 10 and under children. And so if they're not in the loop, they don't know what they don't know.
Drop the flyer on the way out and forget to give it to them, or so that's another great way to promote that.
And then in the facility the week before, we also have big posters reminding people to sign up. Then after the play day, this is right here. You can see the picture of the pizza party. There's a setting up. I think that was right before a match there. We always make sure afterwards we get a group shot of everyone. And usually, again, there's a serious picture and a funny picture. We always like the funny ones better. But then we take these pictures. Oh, at that same time, we do the prizes. This particular time, we had 3 rackets, which we don't always have that many to give. And we usually try to see who has rackets and who doesn't. And we probably skew it a little bit so that the kids that don't have rackets have better odds of winning the rackets. And then what's the next slide you have there? Or is that the last
I think
one?
that's the end. I have one that you guys would love to have players come down for from everyone's organization to play, so getting their ideas. But
the one other thing we do is we are using different social networks. We advertise on Facebook pretty much 2 weeks out for the first time, and then again once or twice during the week. Immediately after the event, probably before they get home, we have pictures up. So by the time they get home, they can go and see group pictures. We try to take usually pictures in, especially since we're talking about children, pictures in groups, and we make sure that those pictures can't be tagged, so that again to keep the privacy and keep our kids safe. That's unfortunately now something we have to really take into consideration. We have a tennis newsletter in our club and a club-wide newsletter. We advertise and we put pictures and kind of summaries every month in that too. We've made it very predictable. Our play days are always the second Friday of the month, making it easier for these families. The families nowadays are very, very busy, just so that they can put it in their calendar. They know when it's going to be. We tried once to change it to a Saturday, and it was a mess because everyone was expecting it to be on a Friday. So we're just sticking with that Friday, 6 o'clock, second Friday of the month. And it'll be interesting in the summer now that, that there are definitely more things to do during the weekends. We're expecting our numbers will probably go down a little bit, but we're increasing the number of tournaments we have during that time, so that the kids can plan for that. So we're going to have play days, we're going to have red ball, orange ball, green dot tournaments, along with a level 6 tournament just in our club, and those are all open to anyone in USTA, and we'd love to have people come down. I think our players sometimes get tired of playing other local players. They love to see other players, and our more competitive players travel frequently, but not everyone, especially on the younger end, is ready. The parents aren't necessarily ready to make the commitment to drive frequently. Once in a while they might, but on a week-by-week basis, they're really not ready to do that. We try to keep it pretty affordable. We went from $15 to $19 because of the food. We got a few complaints about that, but our numbers actually went up when we raised the price. So even though they were complaining, they still thought it was value. And if you figure an hour of daycare is usually $10 at least, $19 for 2 hours of tennis with a little bit of instruction, and a meal and the potential for prizes, it still seems to be pretty much of a value.
Great. Sabina and Mike, we had a question about how your play days interact with lessons, leagues, and how do you tie them in. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Friday night seems to be an unpopular night for leagues and for mixers and for everything else. We usually have courts open. We have one of our beginning competitive level group lessons have their matches on Fridays, but they're usually done by 7, and luckily we have 11 courts indoors. So even with our classes and our match play that's going on there, we usually do just fine, especially with the format of having the drilling and the more festival portion of it being at the beginning. So then once we eat the pizza, the facility is pretty much empty, and then we have all 11 courts for matches. We leave one court open for membership usually, in case someone wants to come in and play. but we usually have 10 to 11 courts available at that time. And so the Friday for us has worked. And when you're scheduling these play days, that's definitely something on the administrative side you do need to consider, is not only when can they come, but when do you have the space and the professional staff able to do it. We don't use volunteers very much for that, mostly because we're a private facility for insurance purposes. We have started an NJTL program here in Rochester, and so we have some high school kids that are learning to teach tennis now in the elementary schools. And so as our numbers are growing, we're probably going to move into that pool and have some of those kids help us a little bit too, in order to A, keep the prices down, B, it's just fun to play with the the high school kids that they're reading about in the paper and seeing on TV. And it's a great experience for the high school kids who are needing volunteer hours, and they're needing a lot of other things to make their resumes look good for colleges.
Yeah, great point. How about how for the players themselves, for the 10 and under kids, with how, like, do a lot of them, are they already in lesson programs and leagues with you, or is the play day kind of a kickoff their experience? Is
Kind
it
of
a
both.
combination?
For the red ball, the majority of the kids are probably kids that are already in our 10 and under programs. Frequently, they'll bring a sibling that doesn't play tennis, and then that sibling will, I think we actually have a 100% success rate of, if they've brought in a friend or they've brought in a sibling, that child has enrolled in our program afterwards. For the orange ball, we do have in our competitive program, we've brought that lowest level, which we call ACE-3 here. We use green dot and orange balls. And so we do encourage our orange ball kids that are already our competitive kids to also come to the play days. And we kind of get a mixed read on that. Some of them, and they enjoy it, but I think sometimes the parents think that they shouldn't be doing play days anymore. They should be playing that, not playing matches and tournaments. So they feel that maybe that's a stepping back. But we definitely have quite a few that they'll actually cancel their competitive match time so they can come to the play days.
Oh, pizza and prizes. Sounds pretty fun. We had another question as well about the props that you use, all the fun things that we saw in those pictures. Where do you get those from? That was a question that we had.
A lot of it's from NetNex.
Or on-court.
And on-court, off-court, yeah. One of the things when Greg Lappin was here, he was very big on, we don't like lines in tennis at all. And so the challenge to the professional staff here is that in any group, especially in the 10 and under, when after the kids hit the ball, they have to do something that involves athletic development. So we set up these intricate obstacle courses where they're jumping over things, going, crawling under things, running around things, working on balance, working on just plain old kid playground things, actually. A lot of times the kids don't go to the playground as much as they used to. So we're working a lot on the athletic development along with the hitting and the actual technique development. So we always have tubes up as targets. We always have hurdles up to jump over. We have spots. We have the balance, I don't know what they're called, little balance.
Balance domes on that,
We have the dome cones. You will not find, especially for the red ball, you will not find a class that we have here that doesn't have some sort of obstacle course set up for the kids. Orange, it'll get a little more into the speed, agility, and quickness, where we'll do some cone drills and that type of thing. But again, we really want to keep the kids moving and involved and active, and not just standing and waiting till they get there next time they can hit the ball.
Cool.
Yeah, it definitely cuts down on people swinging rackets and hitting somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, keep them engaged, absolutely. Right. Any other questions right now for Sabina or Mike? I think you got that
them
one.
all.
Yeah.
One of the things that we've had a couple of the parents ask about, and we haven't done it yet, but we're thinking about, we have a new class here at the Athletic Club that's called Drills and Games Galore, and it's an adult class, and essentially what they do is they play all the games the kids played, beat the baseliner, flurry, champ challenger, you name it. And the adults now sign up for this class, and they go an hour and a half playing these games. And we've had a few adults ask if we would consider starting to run that on a court or two in conjunction with the play days, so that there are those that want to go out to dinner on Friday night, but there's some of them that would just love to make it more of a family event, and where they could be on court too. We haven't done that yet. definitely something that we plan to do. But it would be kind of neat to have, you know, it'd be a 10 and under, 18 and over event, I guess. And if we get our high school kids helping with the class as well, it could, you know, potentially be a family event and an active, healthy lifestyle family event.
Very fun. Great. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Lots of great information and tips in there.
You know, the important thing, again, is that start it out being fun where they want to come, and then develop it into the true play day that we know, you know, USTA has found is the most valuable for the kids long term as far as, you know, tournament, high school, all of those. But you may not be able to get them right away if it starts out with match play 100%.
Yep.
Get them in the door first.
And Mike and Sabina, if someone has a question after this webinar that they think of, can they contact you directly?
Sure.
So we might send out your email addresses as long as that's okay with you. I think these opportunities for peer sharing and dialogue are incredibly beneficial.
Oh, we'd love that. And we also, you know, we're always up for setting up exchanges between clubs. We really like our kids to have opportunities to play with as many kids as they possibly can. I know, you know, USDA has a lot of programs with regional training centers and such now where the kids, when they're young, are getting to meet a lot of players throughout the section, and that really becomes valuable as they go through the USTA tournaments. And it's not just that they're going to the tournaments for the playing, but they end up seeing their friends. And so these relationships when they're young, you know, by the time they're in high school, they go and they're playing the state championships, fiercely competing, and at the end giving each other a hug because they're best friends. That's the perfect sport right there.
Yep. Great. Pretty cool. Well, otherwise, this was kind of our goal. We're going to be doing more of these webinars throughout the year on certain topics. So if you have ideas, if you like the Playdays one, maybe you want to hear one on junior team tennis or recruiting volunteers or whatever topics you think would be beneficial, please let us know, and we're going to shoot for half an hour, 45 minutes, not too much of your time, but like we said before, I think these opportunities to hear what others are doing and interact can be really beneficial to support what you're doing in your own communities. So otherwise, thank you, huge thank you to Mike and Sabina for agreeing and offering to share what they do down at the Rochester Athletic Club, and thank you to all of you for everything that you do, and hopefully we will see you doing some more play days. If you have questions, let us know. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.